transfer rumours. Before we move on to the West Ham Tottenham rumours, I did hear something. As much as I don't think this is going to happen, but apparently Everton have been offered Cristiano Ronaldo.
That's never going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. He'll never go. Never in a minute. If it was Wolves, I'd think, all right, maybe because they got a lot of Portuguese players. They got that Portuguese agent as well. You think, all right, there's a bit of truth in that. But there's no chance he goes to Everton. No way. Because he'll finish 10th and people will laugh at him. What?
Yeah, but I think from what I've seen this season, I think he's winding down now, mate. I don't think he's the same. That he's still an amazing player, but I don't think he's going to hit the levels that he hit. And it's only natural, man. What is he, 34 now, 35?
The older, I think, 36.
No, he's getting too old, mate, for football anyway, not in life.
For me, I think he'll go back to Sporting at some point.
Yeah,
his last season, because it is his first club, it's his home, like it's the team that he supports. And to be fair, if he went to Sporting, the boost that would give to that league would be incredible. Like they, because they're starting.
Is he going to go where the money is, though? Is he going to go to America or somewhere? Or look at Zlatan, went to America, didn't he? Make money. Is he going to go to a Saudi team? No, I think like Iniesta went to a Saudi team, didn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, but then that's tarnishing his legacy. If you go anywhere else that's not in Europe, like. To be honest,
mate, he's done it all. He's done it all.
Yeah, he has. But if you go and win the Saudi League,
I think if Ronaldo went to China, I guarantee you he'd be on like 700 grand a week.
Easy. He's on more than that at Juventus at the moment. I think he's on £1 million a week or €1 million a week. I think so. Yeah, I think his wages are mad.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think he's on something. He's on some crazy money at Juventus. That's why they want to offload him, because he's basically bankrupting the club, and he hasn't brought what they thought he would.
£1 million a week.
Yeah, to play football. It's great.
What is that a second?
£5,000 probably, or something crazy. £100 probably, something mad. But yeah, he's not brought the success that Juventus had. To be fair, Juventus didn't even need him. Like, they were winning Serie A, they were getting to Champions League finals without him. They haven't got anywhere near with him. Like,
do you know why they Serie A? It's because he scored that overhead kick against them that year before he went there.
He did, yeah, he did.
They were like, we've got to get him. But listen, let's move on to the West Ham transfer rumours. So I've got the page up in front of me. So some that I've heard already. We're looking at signing another Sparta Prague midfielder. His name's Alex Krell.
Okay.
He's been recommended, I think, by Souček and Sofao. And obviously they're with him now I think they're with him. I think he's in the Czech Republic squad. I'm not sure. But apparently they've been big in West Ham up to him, telling him to join. It's one of them things, is hit and miss. You don't know. I mean, before Sofao came and Souček came, we would have been like, who the fuck are these idiots,
Yeah.
And it turned out great. So he plays in the middle of midfield. Apparently, his favourite position is central midfield, between a defensive midfielder and attacking midfielder. So I think he's more like a box-to-box player.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. Apparently, we're in advanced talks for him, so that deal could be done pretty quick.
Yeah.
I've also heard, I told you yesterday on text, and you're going to have to tell me the name because I ain't got no chance of saying it. But West Ham, as well as Southampton, are close on signing, is it Filippo from Barcelona?
Junior Fripo from Barcelona.
Yeah, left back. We're apparently close on signing him. Obviously, this is all rumours, so you can't be 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
There is one here that I haven't seen yet, and it's just popped up on. Just gonna bear with me. So the headline says, new twist in West Ham plan to sign Jesse Lingard after Trent Alexander injury. So, I mean, God knows what that means. But personally, I don't think we're going to get Jesse. He put out an Instagram post saying like how he really thanks West Ham and, is always going to hold a place in his heart and stuff. And I saw on Instagram as well that he put, I think it was his daughter, was in a West Ham kit and she was singing Bubbles.
No,
I mean, so obviously West Ham's meant something to him, and I mean, we've helped each other. You know, he helped us get Europa League, and we've helped him get should have got England squad. You know, but it didn't really work out. But it's going to be tough. I mean, would I take him? Yes, I would take him because of what he did, but I wouldn't pay more than 15 to 18 million, mainly because of how he dropped off towards the end of the season. I wouldn't pay that much. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, I think Man United are basically going to hold off and be like, look, if you want Jesse Lingard, we'll put him in a deal where we get Rice or something like that. I don't think they're just going to easily give us Lingard. Um, I've also read that we're close, or not close, but we're looking at trying to get Adam Armstrong. So that was like a good thing for me because I remember I mentioned him to you.
you love Adam Armstrong, didn't you?
I did. See, I know my stuff. I mean, he'll be a good signing for us, but I don't personally think that will go through. Um, Other than that, I've not really heard much else about coming in. I mean, you hear we linked to like 50 names, but the ones I've mentioned obviously are ones that are close, if you know what I mean. Like there's no smoke without fire. So
Mhm.
like there's something there. Um, so we'll wait and see on them. But yesterday I did hear that apparently Declan Rice like really wants the Chelsea move.
I said it.
And
I said that he would go there.
I
It's a
know,
strange
but
one.
mate, it was like a really heartbreaking moment because it's a reality now, isn't it? I personally didn't think he'd go back there. If you're being rejected by, even if it's your boyhood club and you've been rejected by them, and they've told you you're not good enough, and you've gone to another team and they've give you the opportunity and you've proved you are good enough, why would you go back to that club? I know it's your boyhood club, but why? But fair play. I mean, if he wants to go, I can't stand in his way. I can't be like, oh, you scum, you snake. Like, they're gonna get fans like that, but I can't be like that because at the end of the day, he's a cut above and beyond West Ham. You know, he's he's a big fish in a small pond. If he goes to Chelsea, will he? He'll just be another fish in the pond. Yes, he will, but he's a great player. So we have to do what we can. I mean, if you're gonna sell him, as I said to you yesterday, I'll take I'll take 50 million on the condition that we get Abraham in a permanent deal. If they say, "Oh, we'll give you 50 million plus Abraham on loan" or something like that, I wouldn't take that deal because I think personally, if we just sell Rice upright, we can get 80 to 100 million based on his potential alone. You know, probably 50, 60 million for what he's doing right now, but his potential of what he's going to go on to be, you can't accept no less than 80 million, mate, because of that potential.
Yeah.
And over the years, West Ham have sold people for bargain cheap prices. We've got to stand strong on Rice. Apparently, if Chelsea come in with a bid, Rice will basically push for it. He will tell West Ham he wants to leave. I don't know. I hopefully feel, and I hope this is true, that the Europa League would be enough for him to stay this year. But then it could work the other way. You could think, well, you know what? I've got West Ham to the Europa League. We're never going to get better than this. So, you know, I've done my bit. If Chelsea come in with a bid for me, I want to go.
I mean,
But
it's fair enough, isn't it? I think you can't deny a great player a move away to go on to bigger and better things. And
mm,
it's a shame that he doesn't want to stay and see if he can achieve more with West Ham. But like you said, if you get a lot of money for him and then Chelsea offer you maybe Abraham as a
mm,
permanent deal, then that's not a bad deal, is it? To be honest, like,
well, 50 million plus Abraham, I think, because we should have technically 60 to 70 million to spend anyway this summer. If they spend that or not, it's another thing. But that's what should be there, at least 60. If you get 50 on top of that, that's 110 million to spend on players. Then you bring in Abraham on the free, basically. That gives you Abraham and Antonio up front. Then you got 110 million to invest in the team. We can bring in another striker, a centre mid, a left back, a centre back, a winger, and a goalkeeper for
yeah,
110 million.
Yeah,
Mate,
yeah,
and this is what I'm saying. This summer for West Ham is so big. It is like the biggest summer ever because we're in Europa League. We can actually go out and invest in a team and say, look, players that would never come to us, we're in Europe. Come now. And they will because you're in Europa League. You're not in the Conference League. You're in Europa League, so they'll take it more serious. And we can improve the team this summer for future seasons.
yeah.
Like, yeah, we might not win Europa League. We might not qualify for Europe next season. But if you get players in this season to improve, we can basically become a top 8 club every season.
Yeah, it depends
If,
on the players that you buy, doesn't it? You need, I think,
yeah,
like you did last time, you bought like Enner Valencia and players like that. This time, I think you need to buy players that are under 25 and just say, look, okay, maybe they're not going to be the finished article now, but in 2-3 years' time, they'll develop. They develop with us and we improve as a team, or we get big returns on them, and then you do the same thing again. A bit like what
this is
Leicester have done over the years, like we've seen with like Kante, Mahrez. We've been through it before. If you adopt that kind of policy, yeah, you can become a team that stays in that top 8 for the next few years. It depends on what they do this summer. Like you said, if you bugger it up now and then you don't finish in Europe again next season, then you're kind of back to the drawing board.
that is my worry. That is my big worry because at the end of the day, if we do mess it up, we don't sign the right players, we don't improve the team the way we should. Technically, right now, we should be beating Arsenal and Tottenham to players because we're in the Europa League. Yeah, I know Arsenal got the history, so players probably would still go there. And Tottenham, if they get Conte and Kane stays, then more players will be like, you know what, I'll go Tottenham. I get that. But players that we had no chance of before, we should be able to get now. And we've got to take that opportunity. You've got to, even if the board think, right, we've not really got the money, you've got to take the gamble. You've got to. They're relaxing the financial fair play because it's not worked. We've got to take the gamble. I mean, don't go crazy. Don't spend 200-300 million, but give David Moyes the 70 million to spend. Let him go out and just buy players. I mean, we bring this kid in, Alex Krul. He might turn out to be great, but we need to buy proven as well. I'd go to West Brom and buy that Pereira.
Yeah, he's all right.
But he's good for West Ham, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, for West. Yeah, I suppose that's the
I'm
thing.
not saying go crazy like bring in freaking Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi. That's not going to happen. Bring in like I don't know, whatever. Me personally, we're in Europa League. I'll go to Torino and say for that. What's his name? Barini.
Oh, Belotti.
I said I was going to say Belotti, and then I changed it for Belotti. I'd say, look, here's 30 million.
I think he's gone to Roma on a free. If I remember right.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I think his contract was up. I think he's gone. I can't remember, but yeah, he's a good striker. He's got pace.
That's the sort of player we'll go for because they're on the cusp of they're too big for the team just outside of Europe, but they're not the sort of player that a top 4 club in England is going to buy.
Yep.
And that's the sort of player we have to get. We have to go for that sort of player because at the moment we're always competing with the likes of Leicester and I'd say I'll put Tottenham in that bracket because I don't think Tottenham can buy the world elite players. So we're competing with these players. We've got to do it. This summer is the most crucial window in West Ham's history for me. Straight up.
Yeah, it is. It is like you've said. You've got to get it right, and you've got to bring in players that you're going to be able to develop and then potentially sell on, or they drive you onto the next level, and then you sell them on for a big fee anyway. I think that's the only way that you guys can do it, and I think Tottenham, we've got to do the same thing as well. This is a big summer for us too, and we need a massive clear out. Like I've said before, like pretty much half the squad needs to go. It won't happen because it doesn't happen like that. And we need to bring a lot of good players in. And I was just looking at the some of the transfer rumours. They're saying that we're going to bid for Zaha. No, I wouldn't even give you £1 for him. Like he will bring. I'll tell you the 2 things that he'll bring: an attitude problem and inconsistent performances.
Yeah.
But those are the two things that he brings. And Crystal Palace is where he's at. But that's his level, unfortunately.
I think he would be better at West Ham personally. But then again, he won't want that because it's not the big club that he wants to go to. He doesn't do it consistently enough to go to a big club.
He doesn't. And you can say, okay, he can make excuses. Well, my teammates are this and they're that. But you're at the level you're at.
Mate, if you've got weaker teammates, you drag them forward. Look what Payet did for West Ham that season. He dragged players. He made Mark Noble look like prime Iniesta, prime Xavi. But I'm stretching a bit there, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like last night's game with England. David Alaba was playing left wing. I was like, what's it? But you could see that he was dragging his teammates to a better performance, and that's just one player that Austria had. So Zaha, he can do that for Palace, but then he has games where he's quiet and he does a couple of step overs, and it's like, oh, come on, like, you're better than this. Like, he is better than this. I just don't think he has the attitude to make himself better.
He's getting too old as well now, isn't he? That big move.
Yeah, this is his last big move wherever he goes now. So, and it's not going to be Tottenham because we don't want another player with an attitude problem. Like, people said Berbatov had an attitude problem. He was just arrogant, but he had the quality to back it up. Zaha's just arrogant and doesn't have the quality. So, I wouldn't want him. That would be a waste of money. And then I was reading about Chelsea going for Kane. They want to give us Abraham and Kepa.
See, I think if it weren't for the rivalry between you and Chelsea, that suits all parties, mate. Because Chelsea need that striker, and Abraham will be great at Tottenham. I really do think that, and I don't think Kepa is as bad as people make him out to be. I just think he's at the wrong club.
He's awful. He's an awful goalkeeper. Like, he has no as a goalkeeper, he has no presence. He just and I get why Chelsea bought him at the time, because he was in form. He was at Atletico Madrid, and it was like shades of David De Gea all over again. And then he's come to Chelsea.
I was about to say that to you. I was about to say that David De Gea, it makes me think David De Gea. When he first come to the Premier, he was exactly the same. But he wasn't dropped out of the team by Man United. He was given time to improve. And I think that's what Kepa needs.
He's not going to get that at Chelsea. And
I'll take Kepa at West Ham.
Yeah, but that's about his level, though, isn't it? Like, for us, no offense, but we need a better goalkeeper. And the thing is, there's not many about. And the problem with that is that Arsenal are probably going to sign the best young goalkeeper on the planet in Andre Onana. And that was one signing that I thought we should make, either him or the Croatian goalkeeper that I mentioned last time, Lajkovic.
You do know that Onana has a error in him.
He does, but he's a modern goalkeeper, so he's a sweeper keeper, can play with his feet.
Yeah, but the way I look at it, mate, is if he goes Arsenal, with how shoddy they are at defending, he's just going to become another calamity.
Could be.
Like, he's a good goalkeeper, and I rate him highly, but you're only as good as your defence at the end of the day.
Yeah, and obviously we've got big problems in defence as well that we need to sort out. So it's a big summer for us. Like, I haven't seen any defenders that we're linked with. So we need a centre back, we need a right back desperately as well, because our centre backs are not good enough, like we mentioned before. It's going to be a big summer for us. Like, if we sell Kane and then he doesn't reinvest the money wisely, we haven't even got a manager yet. So that's why we're not really being linked with anyone, because I'm guessing that Levy wants the manager to buy the players, which is not such a bad thing. But then if you're looking at someone like Conte, is he just going to do what he did at Inter Milan and bring in all these like Premier League rejects? Instead of this time, it's going to be Serie A rejects. And you're like,
yeah, mate, you can end up with Ashley Young.
Fucking hell, Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're going back to the days when we had like Les Ferdinand and Darren Anderton and these kind of players. Like,
hey, mate, put respect on Les Ferdinand's name.
No, he was a good striker back in the day, but when we had him at Tottenham, he was finished. So, I mean, at Newcastle, he was a great player. Like, he was a great striker, but at Tottenham, he was finished.
When he was at West Ham, he was finished.
Yeah. I mean, he was a good player, but hopefully we're not starting to see us go backwards, because we've had years now, probably about 10 years where we've been going forward. Okay, we've been up and down a little bit, but
it all depends, mate. It all depends on what you do with Kane, and it's a bit similar, like West Ham and Tottenham situation. Like last time we got Europe, although we went out in the qualifying round, we bought all shoddy players. And this time we can't do that. That's why it's a big thing. We have to invest. We're in the group stages. We have to buy decent players that are going to take us to that level.
Yeah.
Tottenham, last time they sold their big key player, they bought trash,
Yep.
and they eventually had to bring that same player in on loan to try and help. If they
Yep.
sell Kane, they can't afford to do that again. They have to buy players that are gonna not only you can't replace Kane, but not only are you gonna try and fill that void. Because if you sell Kane, you're losing 20, 30 goals a season.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that anywhere else. You might be able to get 15 goals if you bring in another striker. Very unlikely you're going to get a striker that's going to score over 20 goals. So me personally, you have to fill that void elsewhere. You have to bring in players that are going to chip in.
It's
And
true.
I don't. That's why it's a big summer for both clubs. Are you going to be able to do it, or are you going to bring in another Lamella again? And what was the other guy's name? Soldado.
Oh my God, Soldado. Oh, Jesus, he was a donkey. Even when we signed him, I was like, what are we doing? But the thing is, it's like you said, if we sell Kane, you've got to find goals from somewhere. And the problem is that Europe and even world football, there isn't a striker that you go, oh yeah, actually, like he's going to guarantee get you like you said, 25 goals in the Premier League, because you could buy, say, I don't know, I know Liverpool are probably going to sign my favorite striker, which is a bit annoying, but who else is there? Like, you look around Europe. I mean, Tottenham are not in a position to buy anyone like Haaland. Would never happen. Like, but that's about the only player that you could say I'd have a good shout
Mate,
that he would score.
I think Leeds have got more chance of signing Haaland than Tottenham
Yeah,
because
they
of
have.
because of his dad.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we're going to go and get him, but what I was saying is that he's probably the only striker in Europe, apart from like Lewandowski or someone like that you could say he would score 25 goals in the Premier League, guaranteed. They're the only two, and they're not.
I think Lewandowski would do bits at Tottenham.
Yeah, we would never get him. I mean, but
the way I look at it, right, is if he goes Man United and stuff, he's going to score goals, but at Tottenham, he's the man. At Tottenham, he'll be seen as like the holy grail.
yeah,
So like, I don't know. I think for me personally, just looking at Lewandowski, I see him as a great fit at Tottenham, but
it will never happen. Never happen. The only player that I was just thinking about that I would like, and it's a bit of a strange one, is the Mönchengladbach striker Thuram, Lilian Thuram's son, Marcus Thuram. He can play left or he can play striker. I don't think he'll get 25 goals for Tottenham, but I think he'll get you 10, 15 goals in the Premier League. Yeah. He's physical, he's strong, he's fast, he's got a decent finish. And I don't think we'd have to pay too much money for him, maybe like 25, 30 million euros, something like that.
This is it. That's where you've got to look, especially with pandemic and COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of money around. So these are the sort of deals that you've got to go for. But like, that's the sort of player that West Ham's got to try and get.
Yep.
I know it's hard. It's going to take a lot of convincing, but this is the only chance we have to upgrade our team to that sort of level. Yep. And I agree. Yeah, it'll be a good fit at Tottenham. But that's why I'm thinking Tammy Abraham for Tottenham as well would just be an absolute banging deal.
Yeah, he would. But
he will definitely get 15 goals. Because you look at the way he started this season, mm-hmm. he was banging in goals. Was he not top goal scorer at one point?
I think him and Calvert-Lewin were up there, weren't they, at the start?
Yeah, it's insane. It's literally insane. I mean, he was only not. He dropped off a little bit. I get that, but then Lampard went from that stage where he didn't know who his striker that he wanted to use, and it was crazy, mate. If he stuck with Abraham, I don't think he would have lost his job. Big statement, but I think it's true.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what would have happened in the season? I don't think they would have won the Champions League with Lampard.
No. They only won that because of the manager. Yeah, Tuchel. But yeah, I don't know. All I can say, mate, it's a big summer for both our clubs, and I mean, history tells you that West Ham always a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
And if we had to qualify for Europa League, we wouldn't do it. So that's why I'm glad that we've actually got to the group stages. But I look at it and I just think, I don't see it, mate. As much as I'm trying to stay positive, every year we're linked with 50 to 60 players, and we're so close every time. Like, we never we nearly threw away the Ben Rama transfer.
Yep.
Last year, and I'm just like, for God, I can't. I just know that we're gonna mess up already. I just got this really bad feeling. And if we do sign anyone, it'll be 2 or 3 players, and then like, I have this feeling that they'll sell Rice, and then the owners will pocket all the money.
Yep. I mean, we've seen it before, haven't we, with big transfers? And the thing is for you guys as well, like you said, it's a big summer. For us, we haven't even got a manager yet, and the days are ticking on. The Euros are coming, so no one's going to move really during the Euros because you have to come back, have medicals, and all this stuff. So then you've got about 4 weeks to the season, and it's like, gee, who are we going to get in? And we'll do what Tottenham do normally and buy players on transfer deadline day, like we used to, like we did with Jermaine Genius and these type of players. It's like, oh God, what are we doing? Panic buying. We'll panic buy again, and it will be another one of like, oh, we've bought some like 30-year-old centre back from Nice or something. And you're like, what? Why? Because that's the only player we could get.
I don't know. I think Tottenham should get Pau Torres centre back, but
yeah, he won't come to us now. Not that they're in the Champions League.
Yeah, I know you say that, but I don't know, mate. Money talks.
It does, but we'd have to pay like 55 million euros for him or something crazy. So,
speaking about Villarreal, that was one player that West Ham are linked with that I've just remembered. Is it Moreno, the striker?
Yeah, Gerardo Moreno.
From what I saw, I don't want him.
He's half decent. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, he scored the goal in the Europa League final, but honestly, like against Man United and against Arsenal, he was poor. And I just see him at West Ham being another Zaza.
Oh, I remember him with his little run up for penalties and stuff. To be fair, he was a decent player when you bought him, but I think he was overhyped, wasn't he? And everyone thought, oh, he's going to be the next great Italian striker, and he was a bit crap, wasn't he?
I have no idea what we did then. No idea. And this is what I'm worried about. I mean, like with David Moyes, he's the type of manager that if he doesn't get the player he wants, he won't buy anyone. And I get that, but we need to buy players to strengthen the squad.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the Carabao Cup you're putting kids out in, FA Cup you're putting kids out in to keep you strong for your squad strong for the Europa League and Premier League. If we go out Europa League and we finish 4th, or even 2nd, because of that the way it's structured now is stupid.
Yeah.
And we don't get the conference thing, then Europe's over. Then you've only got the Prem, and if you're having a bad season in the Prem, you're messed up. And that's why probably players will be a bit. What happens if we go out? And that's where you've got to convince them. You've got to give them the reassurances. But hey,
the only way to do that is to sign players. So, like, if you're signing like a big player, let's just say for argument's sake, it's Lingard. For argument's sake, and he says, "Well, I'm thinking about it, but what are your transfer plans?" And you go, "Well, we're buying X centre back, we're buying this left back, we're buying this central midfield player. Yeah, Rice is going to go, but we're going to reinvest that money and we're going to get this player and that player." And then they suddenly think, "Oh, actually, West Ham are doing things here. Like, okay, Rice is going, but they're bringing in another good player to replace him, and then they're bringing in another striker, and he's convinced, because then he's like, okay, these guys mean business because they're buying 4 or 5 good quality players out of the money they've got." And I think that's the way that you convince players to come as well, is they say, well, you might go out of the Europa League. We can go, actually, we're going to try our best. We're putting all this money into the squad. We're buying good quality players that you've heard of, players with good reputations. And then you suddenly got a project on. But it depends. If they buy one player and go, yeah, we're going to keep the rest of the money, and you're like, actually, we could end up finishing in the bottom 4 next season.
That's it. This is it. I don't want to be another Burnley, where you get into Europe and then you're struggling in relegation the next year. Like, if that happens, then theoretically, there was no point of us doing it. The whole point of us doing what we did in the league this year was to not be a one-hit wonder, to not say, we've done it one year, great for the season, great for the time. Now we go back to where we belong. No, there was a woman, Tottenham fan, phoned up on Talksport. And she was like, "Oh, all these West Ham's coming out now, piping up. You know, next season they'll be back where they belong, and they can shut up." I want to put all them fans. I want to shut all them fans up.
Yep.
Like, I don't expect us to get Europe again next year, but I want to be in top 10. I want to be in top 8,
Fair enough.
and I want to invest in the team now while we've got the chance. Like, just do it. I mean, even if we finish 10th and we get to like the first knockout round of the Europa League and we get a really hard team and we lose, like, I'll take it, because at the end of the day, the money generated you can pump back into the team, and you know, have like what you said about Leicester, and just buy players, and then eventually, if you either keep them and they take you to the next level, or someone comes in and says, "All right, then here's 60 million." You take the 60 million, you reinvest it again, like you said, and you buy and buy again. Like Leicester, they sold Kante, got Ndidi. Ndidi's going to go soon. As soon as he goes, they'll invest it in another player, build him up, and then whatever. They already kind of did it with that Mendy, but I don't think he's at that level.
Yeah.
So they would have to probably look again. But it is what it is, mate. We have to see. I mean, there's one player West Ham's been linked with, and it's a West Ham signing. And if they do it, I'm done. And it's Phil Jones. No, Phil Jones.
Oh God, that is a West Ham signing, isn't it?
Exactly. And if they bring in Phil Jones, mate.
He hasn't played football for about 2 years, has he?
No, and if you say you do a good job at West Ham, I'll come through the camera and slap you.
To be fair, he might resurrect his career.
No, mate. We can't take that risk. You can't take that risk.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
The thing with Phil Jones is that he was bigged up, wasn't he, as a future Man United captain when he came from Blackburn, and you know, he's future England captain and all this stuff. And then he started playing centre back. Well, I really thought he was a central midfield player or a holding midfield player. I don't think he's a centre back because he's got too many mistakes in him and he's not that good defensively. But if you had him as a holding midfield player to replace Rice, I reckon that would be pretty decent. But
I think I can feel a wet fish slap coming on.
I mean, we've seen stranger transfers, haven't we? So you never know.
Apparently West Ham and Newcastle are after him. So, I mean, I don't know.
Newcastle, that's a good signing. Don't sleep on Newcastle next season. They finished 12th, didn't they? And I know they were struggling, but they could be a surprise package next year.
Yeah, no, they could, but not with Bruce in charge.
You say that, but he finished 12th with them.
Mate, that's because the rest of the team was shit down there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They went on a good run and stuff, didn't they? But if he's starting to get things together and they spend, well, they're not going to spend any money.
You know what the bad thing is for Newcastle? They've got two really good players, but they get injured all the time. So Maximan and Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
If they keep them fit all season, which won't happen, but if they keep them fit all season, yeah, they've got a good chance of being a surprise package. Maybe getting the Conference League, Europa Conference League. But if what I think will happen, they'll get injured, there'll be another season like this one.
Yep.
And that's where Newcastle are at. Whereas that's why I'm saying West Ham have to invest this summer. So if we get injuries to Antonio, we've got a Tammy Abraham, we've got a Adam Armstrong, hopefully. Same sort of players, you know? I mean, Abraham's just, for me, a finisher. Antonio, you could then actually even play Antonio behind Abraham or on the wing, you know, and just be like causing havoc. Yep. Or in my opinion, play both of them up front together. Just try something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens. I think we'll both probably be sitting here before the start of the season discussing the pre-season build-up and be very disappointed in both of our transfer windows. That's the thing I think will happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see me predicting West Ham to get relegated if they bring no one in. Because personally, a club like West Ham can't handle Europe and a normal Premier League season if they're going to keep the same team we've got in a minute. We've got a decent team for one Premier League season, as we proved this season, but we haven't got it to do Europe as well. So
it's true.
But yeah, Well, thank you for coming on again, Bill, and having a good old chat.
It's all right.
I enjoy these a lot, mate. And yeah, we're doing. How many episodes we on now? This is the 8th one, isn't it?
Number 8, yeah, number 8.
Number 8, well, that's pretty decent, I mean, and we have to just keep saying thank you to everyone because we get a lot of support and feedback, and everyone's enjoying it. Obviously, we're not doing 2 at the week in a minute because obviously time is like of the essence, and we both got a lot of things going on. But some weeks we may do 2 if we get the time, but if not, it'll be 1 a week from now on. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, as Billy said, we'll be nearer to the new season. We'll do previews of the new season, all things West Ham, Tottenham, the Europa League, the Euro Championship will be the next video most likely, where we preview the tournament, give our winners, maybe top goal scorer, player of the tournament. We'll do all things like that to build up to that, because I think that'd be pretty interesting. And we'll regularly do maybe transfer rumours as well, because I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
people looking to see who's going to sign who. Because obviously we talk West Ham, Tottenham, but we'll talk other big ones as well. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Bill, thanks for this again, mate. And yeah, everyone, please follow us on the socials. Best of all, football on all things social media. And yeah, if you have any comments for us, let us know, and we'll get back to you. But until next time, it's a goodbye from Billy, a goodbye from me, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.